Okay, good morning, everyone. So today, again, an important topic, which is a part of profiles. So we were discussing about profile section. In that, one of the most important profile which comes is SSL profile. So in SSL, we will see two types of profile. One is client SSL and one is server SSL. So this SSL profile, why it is needed and what is client SSL, what is server SSL, what is certificate, and how we can apply the certificate. So we will talk about certificate apply. Then we will talk about renewal, how we can renew the certificate. We will also talk about certificate authority. Okay, so this all task we will see in today's class. Why it is needed. So before that, guys, I need to give you some basics of SSL and SSL Handshake, which are important to understand SSL. So we will go through the basics first, then we will see other things in detail about F5. And one of the important topic also comes is self-signed certificate versus certificate authority. So all this topic first we will discuss today, then we will see other things later on. So guys, when we talk about client coming to F5, then F5 is forwarding the traffic to server 1, server 2, server 3. In that case, let's say my website is sianets.com and people are accessing this website on HTTP. Let's say this is a public internet. In public internet, this is your website. And this is hosted on F5. This is a virtual IP which is created on F5. Now, what is the security issue in this, guys? Whenever we use any feature, we need to understand why we need to use it. Anyone, why I say that there is a security issue in this? Let's say the middleman hacker comes into the picture. What he can do? And this website is a banking website. I'm assuming this website is a banking website which customer is accessing on HTTP. So guys, first of the loophole is it is not encrypted. Okay. Second thing is this website is what does encrypted and encrypted means is this says HTTP. So it is a plain text. So anyone can read the data which is getting transferred from client to F5 or F5 to client. Anyone can read any packet they can read or examine. Nothing is required. So if I apply a credit card number, if I add my password, everything will be plain text. Very, very important. So that is why there is a concept which came into picture is SSL. And SSL is a part of your HTTPS. It also works under HTTP protocol, but it is a combination of HTTP plus S. Now what will happen? Client will initiate a traffic to F5 and this one will be encrypted. Even a hacker can get an access of this transaction. He cannot read or delete the data. So that is why it's called encrypted data. So SSL makes help to make a plain text data to encrypted data. Nowadays, guys, SSL is no more used. It is replaced by TLS. And in TLS, they are using version 1.2. Now they have initiated 1.3 also. Previously, SSL was there, SSL versions were there, but due to vulnerabilities in that protocol, they have upgraded to TLS. That is the main thing you need to understand. First, why HTTPS is required and what is SSL TLS. Both are same protocol, but TLS is more secure nowadays, guys. What is the full form of SSL? Secure socket layer. And what is the full form of TLS? It is called transport layer security. So that is the difference between SSL and TLS. And what makes it secure? It is secured by HTTPS certificate. So whenever you access website, guys, what you look over first? Anyone tell me? When you access any website, what are the things you should see so that my website is secure? How you will trust that website, guys? Let's say I access Sianets.com. What will be the first thing you will see in this maybe this is a phishing page, right? I am not sure. Maybe this website is a phishing page. How you will make sure that this is not a phishing page, guys? Anyone? So first you will see padlock sign. Even this is padlock. It does not mean it is secure. So what you will see, you go into this padlock. After that, guys, very, very important point I am telling you, you need to go to this. Whether this certificate is valid or not. Your certificate can be expired. Your certificate might be self-signed. So you need to check this. You go here, click here, guys. You need to check this. Very, very important, guys. Who has issued this certificate? Your certificate should always be issued by your certificate authority, guys. It should never be self-signed certificate, guys. Very, very important. Your certificate is an electronic document that is used to identify the website. Who is the owner? And the certificate you need to register through certificate authority, guys. Because you are paying a fees. When you buy a certificate, for your domain. Let's say I want to publish sianets.com on my internet. Then I will buy a certificate, and certificate is bought from certificate authority, guys. Very, very important, guys. Always check whether certificate is been assigned by certificate authority or not, guys. So this is the organization. I hope you have seen GoDaddy, DigiCert. These are your certificate authorities. GoDaddy, DigiCert. These all are your certificate authority. So these are the organization which will validate your identity, such as your website name, your email ID, person name, and then they will issue you a document which is called digital certificate. Very, very important, guys. So digital certificate, what does certificate do, guys? Certificate basically validate your identity, encryption and authentication, guys. So when we talk about digital certificate, it provides you CIA, confidentiality, authentication, and integrity. So that is why you need a certificate from certificate authority, guys. I will show you what are the things which you need to. So there is a concept called certificate signing request, CSR, which you need to generate. So how you will get it? Let me explain you. First thing, you need to check your website. Then you need to check by who has issued it, certificate authority. After that also, guys, you need to check this validity period when your certificate is getting expired. So guys, you don't think that certificates are free. So let's say I want to buy a certificate from, I will say SSL certificate for website. I will just write this. So I will go to anyone. Let's say this cheap SSL security. So I will tell you how you generate. Can you see this? It will give you the details, which certificate you want. Whether you want wildcard certificate, you want domain certificate. See here. There are different websites which comes into picture. So you will add this card. Here it will give you, can you see this? 6 years. I'm getting 6 years certificate in $29. So here I will enter my organization name, my email ID, payment method, and then I will get a certificate. So this is your certificate authority which is being issued. Many websites are there. GoDaddy is there. DigiCert is there. So see. So how many types of certificates are there, guys? One is domain. Domain certificate is, let's say, Sianets.com. One certificate is wildcard. What does that mean, guys? You need to understand difference between domain level certificate, wildcard certificate, and another one is SAN certificate. See, basics are important. SSL people know, but some people will ask this question: what is the difference between Sianets.com domain level certificate? What does wild certificate means, and what does SAN certificate means? So you need to here decide it. First, let's say I want to buy SSL certificate domain level. So I will go here. I will add to a cart. Now here you will get everything. Can you see this? When I give it, do you want to protect one website? It will say, do you want to protect one website? This is called your domain level certificate. So when I purchase cnets.com, I buy a certificate and I paid some money for 1 year. So it's up to you whether you want to buy for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Then you need to renew it. That is why sometime you will heard that certificate is getting expired. Certificate is getting expired. So that is what certificate is, because it has a validity period, guys. That is very, very important, guys. Every certificate has a time by which time it will get expired. Okay. Now, this is your domain level certificate, but can you see this? Multiple level certificates. This is called SAN. When you need to purchase this, SAN certificates are basically those certificates when you want to secure multiple domains on a single certificate. Let's say you have a brother and sister websites. You have a family. In your family, you are using multiple domains. I am using vidit.com. Hemu is using with hemu.com. Then our marketing team has marketing.com. So what I will say, this is my websites. My company has multiple websites, but I want to protect from single certificate. That is where your SAN certificate comes into picture, guys. Very, very important. Okay. So that is where it is coming into picture. So very, very important, guys. So who implemented SAN? Who implemented? It comes under this. When you need to protect multiple websites, then you need a SAN certificate. Okay. Now, what is wildcard? Wildcard certificate are, guys, when your multiple domains, your parent domain is same. Can you see this? The wildcards are like abc.com. Then it will be sianets.abc.com. Then it will be vidit.abc.com. These are same. Your parent domain is same, but you have multiple child domain. See this. You have one primary domain and then you have unlimited subdomains. Please take care of this, guys. Very, very important. This will be asked in every interview. What is the difference between domain certificate, SAN certificate, and wildcard certificate? Okay, guys. This is been because these concepts are very, very important. This will be asked in every interview. What are WAN certificate? What is domain certificate? What is SAN certificate? So that's why I am telling you this thing in detail. Now let's go further on. So this was all about your different types of certificate and how you need to buy it. Okay, and how it got expired. Now you can see the cost. Here you can see the cost for 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years. So that was all about certificates and SSL. Now I was talking about SSL versus TLS. HTTPS we have signed. HTTPS means when you want your website to be secured by an S. What does HTTPS mean? Simple language. You want your website to be secured by SSL certificate. That is a simple meaning of SSL or HTTPS. Plus, you want to see whether your certificate does not have expired. That is the first thing you need to see. Second thing, whether this certificate is issued by a certificate authority and who is the owner of the certificate. So all these details you will see by the lock symbol. Okay. So SSL versus TLS both are same thing, but TLS is more advanced. It is the more secure version of. So right now TLS 1.2 and 1.3 are more secure, guys. So whenever you apply your certificates, make sure your certificates are TLS 1.2. So I will discuss about ciphers. So there are two things which comes into picture, ciphers and protocol. So your protocol should be negotiating using TLS 1.2 or 1.3. When SSL handshake happens, there are two things which are important. One is protocol and one is cipher suits. So it is more secure version of SSL. Who is this? Who is this? Okay. Now here that is only the different. It's just an updated, more secure version of SSL. Now, guys, certificate also I have shown. If someone asks you about certificate, what is certificate? As an interviewer, I will ask about what is certificate in SSL. Who can answer this? If I just ask you a question, what is a certificate in a normal language? So certificate is just an electronic document that is used to identify individual, that can use to identify your server, that can use to identify your company, and this certificate is associated by public key, guys. So it is just like a driver license, passport, or a student ID. Certificate helps to identify that your website owner, your person identity, who is the person identity. Now, guys, When I talk about SSL certificate has how many keys, guys? Anyone? When I talk about SSL certificate, how many keys are there in SSL certificate? One is public key and one is private key. Why we need require two keys? Anyone? Why we require two keys in SSL? Anyone on the chat? Why we require public key and private key when SSL happens? Why we require two keys? That is a question. So let's take an example of a bank. In bank, you must have a locker. When you operate a locker, you have one key with you that is called private key, and you have one key which is public key. Is it? Do you have both the keys when you operate a locker in bank? Public key and private key? Wrong. When you go to website or when you go to bank to operate a locker, you always carry your private key and public key always remains with the bank. So first, when you go to open a locker in your bank, they will say your locker number, then they will go with you. So when you want to open a locker, guys, in this case, they will enter their public key and you need to then apply your private key. Only then you will be open your locker. So that is the layman language which I want to tell you what is public key and private key. Now, why both the keys are required as a normal language? So public key is basically used to encrypt your data and private key is used to decrypt your data. That is the meaning of both the keys. If someone asks you what is public key and private key. So these keys work together to establish a secure connection. So public key is used to encrypt your data and private key is needed to decrypt your data. That we will talk about in SSL handshake in next topic. But you need to know why we require two keys in SSL handshake also. That is important. Okay. That is two things which I wanted to cover with certificate. So when you get a certificate, now in that you will get a this also keys. They will give you private key will remain with you, but they will give you a public key. When certificate authority will issue a certificate, you will get a public key also, guys. Now, one question I have as an interview, this question will ask in every interview. Why, in which case in SSL handshake public key is required? In which case in SSL your private key is required? Anyone can answer. Whether SSL handshake or SSL is an asymmetric algo or symmetric, anyone? When we talk about SSL handshake or SSL TLS, is it asymmetric or symmetric? They use asymmetric keys or symmetric keys, guys. Anyone? This is an interviewer. SSL is an asymmetric and algo or symmetric. That is important. This will be symmetric encryption versus asymmetric encryption in F5. Anyone? In which case asymmetric encryption is used? In which case symmetric encryption is used? Does SSL TLS uses both asymmetric and symmetric? So guys, this question as an interviewer, I will also ask. So when I talk about SSL and TLS, guys, SSL and TLS uses both encryption, asymmetric also and symmetric also. Very, very important. In which case asymmetric encryption is used? Guys, asymmetric encryption is used when it is establishing the secure initial session between client and server. That is where asymmetric encryption is used. In which case symmetric encryption is used? When you exchange your data. See, first your secure session is built, that you have trusted each other, then data is exchanged. In that case, symmetric encryption is used within a secure session. Trust me, guys, these are the basic things interviewer will ask. They will not ask you how F5 works, how SSL works in F5. That is the second thing they will ask. But they will ask you this question in every interview, whether SSL and TLS uses symmetric encryption or asymmetric encryption. Okay, guys. Now let's come into further point. So this was all about your symmetric and asymmetric plus what is certificate.